Shifting gears, I saw something on your social media recently, and it said that you were challenging yourself to get outside more because
Yeah,
you had a habit of not not going outside as much, and I could really
yeah,
relate to that actually. So
mm,
going back to the story of me looking after the dog,
yeah,
Bonnie has given me a huge incentive to go out because you see the dog and you're like, well, the dog deserves a walk, and I also deserve to get outside and get some sunshine as well. But I'm really guilty of doing that as well, Rod. That since my injury, I stay in a lot more.
yeah,
And seeing as you've challenged yourself to go out more, tell me a
yeah.
little bit about your experience of that.
That is something. That's a great question, by the way. That is something that I've been working with my psychologist very, very often. Is because like I am in a good day, Fred. In a good day, I'm able to work 4 hours, 5 hours. Focus working, and I'm developing so many projects. I'm about to start writing a book about it. It's like I told you, and I I I focus too much on the things that I need to do work wise, and as I am like you, I live by myself. I have several projects. I need to clean the house. I need to cook my food. I need to go to the supermarket. It's like all the free high energetic time I have, all my stamina is going towards work,
Mm.
because like I'm very passionate on the things that I'm developing, which can also be like something that I need to be careful, because like my friends tells me, even my ex-girlfriend told me the other day, Rodrigo, you need to get out, get yourself a girlfriend, or do something. You're just inside all the time. So it's like I told my psychologist, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to get out of the house leisure time, let's say, at least like a few times a week, like once a week for starts, and to make an effort to go out, because uh as my life, it's very like uh how do you say, like I need to balance my energy levels really well, and I need to carve up some time to put some outdoors time in there as well.
That's so
Which,
relatable.
yeah, which is like which is challenging. It is challenging, and I think I need to improve myself into that. I need to make myself more available you know to attend like events outdoors and to do more things outdoorsy. Especially now the weather is nice, because like I spend a lot of time indoors.
Yeah, that's so relatable, man. I spend too much time indoors as well, and my girlfriend says that too. Like we spend a lot of time together, like indoors and outdoors and stuff. Like, and we do, especially when you're in like a cozy relationship. It's very nice. But
Yeah,
I am a bit of a homebody since my accident, of course, because your comfort zone goes from being the world, because I've traveled extensively like you, and then like poof, like to your hospital bed, and even
yeah,
then, even your, getting it from your hospital bed to your chair, that's expanding your comfort zone. So your comfort zone goes like this, like, and then
yeah,
you do expand the comfort zone, and I can go to the lake, but it's a bit of a ball ache, and the motivation seems a bit low, but you do have to force yourself to get out, man. And I
you
think
do.
like it resonated with me so much when I saw that post on your social media. I was like, yeah, man, I need to get out more as well. Like, I'm guilty of that, of just staying in, because like you say, I live on my own, and doing the daily chores takes a long time. Cooking meals takes a long time. Going to the supermarket takes a long time. By the time you've done all the things that like able-bodied people just zoom through,
Yeah,
it's a lot of time has passed. But I
it
don't want
is. It
to.
is, man.
Yeah, I don't want to use that as an excuse though, because now the last couple of days I've been up the lake twice with Bonnie, and it's beautiful. I love it. I've bumped into people like, "Hey, Fred." I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy." Like it's great. And I bumped into some guy today at the lake, really randomly. He was on a bowhead, so I knew immediately that he
Yeah.
was a fellow paraplegic. And he said to me, "Oh, hey, is your name Fredo?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I think I know you." And I said, oh, really? He said, I sold you a wheelchair once. And I said, no way. So his name's Ollie, and he sold me like my first wheelchair, like a Light wheelchair, which I bought online. And it was my first wheelchair for like years. It was my daily driver. I loved it. I've still got it. And we had a great chat, and I just bumped into him randomly, and he's here on a mountain biking holiday, and all these wonderful things as people in the sunshine enjoying the sun. And I'm like, man, like this is literally, I live in a beautiful place. I live in the French Alps. I need to get out more. And it's just such a simple thing, you know. Sometimes
Yeah,
these epiphanies can be like firm grasps of the obvious, you know. Of course you need to
yeah,
get out more. The wheelchair is no excuse, but it is an excuse, but it shouldn't be.
yeah. It shouldn't be. I need to get better at that. You know, I'm working on that, Fred. I'm working on that. You know, I think I will like carve up some time once I'm gonna finish some projects. I will like have more time to expand outdoors, and that's definitely going to happen because it is important for your mental health as well, to put yourself out there, especially if you involve nature, like you live close to a lake. I live by the sea. Like,
Mm.
it can have a huge amount of benefits for your mental health as well to go out and you know
Yeah, and I think doing yoga outside, there's such a synergy between like
yeah,
deep breathing when you're outside, feeling the sun on your face, and stretching.
yeah,
They go so well together, man. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I was going to ask you, how's your social circle? Do you have many friends in Sweden?
Well, I do have like a few friends over here, but it's like I think one thing that you don't know that I haven't mentioned yet is that I live in Sweden and I live in Brazil as well.
Oh,
I live in Sweden between April and November, and between December and April I live in Brazil because of the Swedish winter is really tough on my body.
mm,
My spasticity and my nerve pains increases so much. So I go to Brazil and I live there. We have like a country house in Southeast Brazil, and then I stay there for the winter. So it's like I see that it's quite difficult to create like long-term relationships and friendships, even though I have them. You know, uh, I have like a social circle, but it's like we're not really together, like doing stuff all the time. It's more sporadic.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's pretty cool though that you get to live in Brazil and Sweden. That must be quite cool. Like I guess you just skip winter. You know, you just go back to
yeah,
Brazil. I'm sure it's quite
yeah,
because it's in the southern hemisphere, right? So you do back to back summers.
yeah. It is sounds cooler than it is. I am very privileged, I must say, because I have friends here who has the same issue, and they go to Thailand or they go to Gran Canaria. But it's like to rent your apartment and then pack everything and then go there and stay there and then come back. It's really tough to have romantic relationships or to create a
Mm,
community around your work. I really want to get a dog. You cannot get a dog. So it's like there are things. But I am planning to move to south of Spain or south of Portugal in the next 2 years, so I can get it sorted and then have like a place where it's going to be warm throughout the year, so I don't need to go behind the sun all the time and fly like a bird, like I'm doing that now. I've
yeah.
been doing that for 9 years, so like that's enough. So like I'm planning to move south somewhere.
Yeah. I can relate because I live in the French Alps, so in the winter time it snows loads, and I describe it as like my playground becomes my prison because what used to be, you know, when it snowed loads, that was my playground. Powder days are the best, you know, when you're a snowboarder, you're just like I can go anywhere, but when you're
Yeah,
in a wheelchair, you can't go anywhere. Like it's like, you know,
no.
I can't even go it's sometimes it's tough to get to my car, you know. So
do you have do you have someone that come and shaves off the snow out of your pathway for you?
no, I shovel it myself. I enjoy shoveling it myself. Actually, in fact, I made a
Really?
YouTube video about it a couple of years ago where I was ready to, you know, shovel the snow, and I'd got all my stuff on, and I wanted to clear the car myself, and some guy
Yeah,
came over and he was like, "Oh, hey man, I'll do that for you," and just cleared the car in like 5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh,
that's
thanks,"
sweet.
but but thanks, but no thanks, because I really wanted to do that myself. I get a lot of satisfaction from being independent and doing that myself. And what would
Yeah,
have taken me 15, 20 minutes took him like 3 minutes. And he thought
yeah.
he was doing me a favor, and he kind of did do me a favor. But at the same time, I was when he'd done it, I was like, oh, but I was like ready for like 20 minutes of snow shoveling, because like, it's exercise, and it's, and it's a task that I wanted to do. And it's
Yeah,
hard for me to say, oh, no, thank you. Like, I'll do that when it's,
yeah.
yeah. So I kind of enjoy clearing the snow. But then sometimes it's very welcome. So I don't really know when to say yes, when to say no.
No,
But yeah, it's interesting. So
yeah. And you don't experience pain, right?
nerve pain, I don't have nerve pain. I've got an incomplete injury, so I'm T12, so a lot lower than you.
Oh, oh,
I've got the abs. I do
yeah.
have spasms, but I've got a lot of sensation. I can feel my thighs. I can
Mm,
feel my legs. My left leg in particular, I've got a lot of sensation. In fact, I
yeah,
really quite enjoy a foot massage, which is really nice. Um,
yeah. I get
so,
it.
but
I get a lot of pain.
I don't
Yeah.
have any voluntary movement. Um, but when it comes to nerve pain, do you think yoga helps with that?
Yeah, it does. It does help. It does help with that. It does help, like you being aware of it, you
Mm,
know, and you become less reactionary. And it's like you kind of embrace it,
mm,
Like I mentioned, yoga doesn't decrease the pain itself, just change your relationship to it,
mm.
basically, you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
On the subject of secondary complications, I said before we started that I had a funny story that happened to me just before the podcast. I think now's a really good time to share it. So that really is a juicy bit of conversation, which is coming up in the next clip. But I thought I would just add this little addendum to the end of that conversation, because recently I have been pushing outside my comfort zone, immensely so. I just wanted to share a few things with you guys. I went to the Harley Days Festival. Well, first of all, I went to watch the England game. England were in the semi-finals of the European Cup, and we were playing the Netherlands, and I went and watched it in Dixie Bar during Harley Days, which is really, really busy. And normally I have been guilty of like being a homebody and like not going out that much since my injury. So that was actually a really, really big deal for me to go in. I had my denim on, I was like, really getting into the Harley Days feel. And yeah, just rocking down the centre and going into a packed pub where everyone was screaming at the TV. That was really outside my comfort zone. Since then, I've been bike riding through the middle of Harley Days, and that is just, you feel like an exhibit because everyone looks at you. I've been to a concert, which was cool. I saw the Dire Straits Experience, which were absolutely fantastic. Not that I wouldn't normally go to that, but there was a bit where I had to wheel through a crowd of people to get to the wheelchair accessible bit because there were some Harleys parked in the way. And I did that on my own, and it was scary. It would have terrified me a few years ago. You'd be like, excuse me, excuse them what? And like trying to like go through a crowd of people when you're like a meter tall, That's really, I don't know, but I just wanted to say that like it's possible. I've been pushing outside my comfort zone more and more just recently since this conversation, and it's really benefited me immensely to every time you expand that comfort zone a little bit, it's less daunting, like it's less daunting to go out where people are. And I've been injured 5 years. I should have been more outgoing sooner, I think. But it's when you're living with paralysis, it's really, really easy to become a homebody and just to become like a little bit lazy and a little bit, it's a little bit drizzly out there. I cycled to the gym the other day in the rain. Couldn't believe it. I didn't even let it put me off. I was like, oh well, it doesn't look like it's raining that much. And we came out and it was raining loads. And then we just thought, oh, we'll just wait. We waited 5 minutes. It died down a bit. I got a little bit wet, but you know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, the more I push outside the comfort zone, that I guess the more comfortable it feels, which is quite obvious. But anyway, I just wanted to add that on. If it inspires anyone to keep pushing outside the comfort zone, then do it. Like it feels good. It feels good. It feels scary. But then it's like the more you do it, the less scary things are. So yeah, I know that sounds a bit obvious, perhaps a little trite, but anyway, I hope that helps. Until next time, love yourselves and each other. Peace.